alaikum. Thank you all for being here. I'd like to take this opportunity to give you a brief explanation about the vision behind the Riyadh Metro project, and possibly at the end an update of where we are on the construction. So to begin with, just the background of Riyadh, where you can see that Riyadh in the 1950s was a very small town in the middle of the desert. After the unification, as the kingdom expanded, okay, now we got it. So with time, since the 1940s, when Riyadh was only 2.2 square meters, you can see that with time Riyadh had actually grew to where in 2016 it's about 1,400 square meters, over 600 times the original area in a span of 70 years, which roughly averages to about a doubling every 6 or 7 years. Of course, this coincided, of course, with a population growth. Today, Riyadh is 6.5 million. The annual population growth is 4%. 30% of the population is below 15 years of age. We have 10 million vehicle trips, and 38% of the land area of the city is actually roads. Now, this, of course, will create some problem for us with regards to mobility. And if we extrapolate to 2030, you can see all of the indicators are almost doubling. So in 2030, we expect a little over 8 million population. The number of vehicle trips is 15 million. The land area is 2,500 square meters. The daily vehicle kilometers travels 230, which is over twice the current rate. The only thing that goes down is the average speed, which goes down from 46 to 18 kilometers an hour, which means that if nothing is done, we will have a major problem come to 2030. This, of course, this creates a lot of challenges for the city. As you might expect, there will be problems with congestion, which are actually already experienced in the city. Safety becomes even a bigger problem with more traffic. The accessibility and the capability of people to get around the city becomes more difficult. Of course, the air pollution also becomes a main negative impact. So Riyadh Development Authority actually set out to find a solution for this problem. And not only this problem, but also the many problems in a metropolitan area, and hence the Metropolitan Development Strategy for Riyadh for 2030. Without getting into detail, one of the main outcomes of the MedStar, we call it MedStar for short, was the transportation strategy, which is supposed to ensure the safe, reliable, and efficient mobility in the city, and to, of course, guide and contribute to the anticipated urban growth. The 6 main points of the transport development program was the road network development, which is actually already being undertaken in many projects in the city through improving vehicle flow by constructing bridges or underpasses at many of the main intersections. Traffic management also is an important part in controlling traffic problems. We currently have a project of installing smart traffic signals at about 350 of the 700 main intersections in the city. This should be complete in about a year or so. Of course, one of the main outcomes is the public transport, which we will be talking about in a little bit shortly. Land use and transportation integration is also another outcome of the plan. Financial sustainability and being able to sustain the growth of the transportation systems, which is also a function which is being undertaken now through institution of for example, parking fees in the city and other incentives or other sources of revenue. And of course, institutional arrangements. There are currently now studies or plans to try to combine all of the traffic functions in the city into one organization, which is still being studied and considered. So if we come to the King Abdulaziz project for public transport, this project is basically composed of the metro and the bus, which is basically 6 metro lines covering about 176 kilometers, 85 stations, 4 of which are main iconic stations, and about 5 or 6 transfer stations between the different lines. A main component also is the 24 bus routes that will be included as part of the network, with buses on demand, or what we call also feeder buses. Over 1,900 kilometers of bus routes with mobile technology, and about 3,000 bus stops in the city. Both projects are being constructed now. We are working in over 300 sites combined, the metro and the bus program. So the milestones actually for the project was in April of 2014, we broke ground. The first viaduct was installed in March of 2015, the viaduct being the bridge, and the first TBM, which was excavating the tunnels, April 2015. The arrival of the first train to Riyadh was in November 2016. The end of tunneling was in December 2016. And actually last month we had the power on to the first section of the metro and to start testing. Overall construction now is at about 68% complete. End of bridge construction is expected in May 2018, and we expect to go into operation for the metro at the end of 2019, with the bus system being in operations slightly ahead of that. As a main function of what we are doing now actually is to pave the way for citizen acceptance of the network of the public transport system. And we've done that actually in a number of ways. One was to create ownership of the network by the public. We've done this by engaging the public in a number of different ways, through moving exhibits in malls and universities and major venues in the city. We've also instituted a call center to handle inquiries and complaints regarding construction activities. We also conducted a number of competitions for children, and the latest one was the naming rights, the naming of the TBMs, which were all very successful, and the public was very engaged in those activities. We have I would say tens of thousands of face-to-face visits to businesses and homes or residents throughout the project area to basically explain the project, explain the construction as it is developing through the streets. Also site visits by universities and schools, also engaging local neighborhoods and having them visit some of the project sites which are adjacent to them. We've also used some of the local architectural elements in the design of the system to connect the people to the local architecture through the system, such as in the seats of the metros, in the partitions, and some of the internal elements which were inspired by palm trees and things of that sort. The arrangement of the seats was also done to take into consideration social aspects. We have 3 classes: first, family, and singles. Regarding of course, the vision, 2030 vision, also one of the main tenets is innovation, and the Riyadh Metro is one of the, hopefully one of the most innovative projects in the region. It is, I believe, the first time that a mobile app was developed to reflect the local detours as they develop in the city, and to allow people to use that live information to allow them to plan their daily commutes. Also, of course, we have it's a driverless train with a smart network with unattended train operations. One of the unique things also is the collaboration with the likes of Uber and Careem to integrate that service as part of the public transport to solve the issue of the first and last mile of the trips. So as passengers will have one seamless journey incorporating all the different phases of the journey. We're using renewable energy. Into about 20% of the energy consumed will be done through solar panels. The Riyadh Metro, of course, is one of the main enablers for achieving many aspects of the Vision 2030. One of the main tenets is making Riyadh one of the 3 Saudi cities recognized in the top ranked 100 cities by providing a reliable public transport network. Also, bringing urban enhancement along the metro alignment by enhancing the urban environment, installing new street furniture, trees, and lighting. This also spawned the other organizations in the city, enhancing the roads within the neighborhoods. So it's having hopefully a double effect. Of course, it will inspire quality of life or improve quality of life by inspiring or promoting healthy habits such as walking and exercise. The environmental impact will be, of course, important by reducing fuel consumption, by reducing the vehicle trips. Also, 4 of the stations, the main stations in the project are LEED certified. It will, of course, create jobs for Saudis and transfer knowledge to the local industries. It will encourage investment and localization also in the local industries. 62%, we estimate now about 62% of services and material supplied to the construction project now is done by local Saudi companies, which is having a main benefit to the local economy. Another important element of the project, which feeds into the Vision 2030, is technology transfer, which we've instituted a program to work with universities to prepare graduates for working in the rail industry through summer internships and other training initiatives. So up to now, we've got over 240 graduates from different universities. Also, we're preparing the public for use of the public transport by awareness. We've conducted a program where we used actually female students from local universities and trained them as ambassadors to connect with local schools and educate the elementary and middle school students with regards to the use of public transport. The first round was about 10,000. We engaged about 10,000 students. The phase 2, we were able to reach about 120,000 students, and those 2 phases are complete now. And we're about ready to start phase 3, which will reach about 700,000 students, and hopefully this will be starting soon, where we'll have male and female university students engaged in this activity. So we're hoping to reach overall about 900,000 students. Also, to reach the public, we've built the Public Transport Visitor Center, which is now open to the public. And it is basically intended to educate the public about the construction activities, and to also inform them of what to expect in terms of services once the system is in operation. It opened on December 6th, and it is now open. So for any of you visiting Riyadh soon, you are welcome to visit. You can log on to the website for the metro project to get the time schedule for the visit and to book your visit time. Up to now, we had about 50,000 visitors, which of course the last period coincided with midterm examinations and other events. So this is basically a quick brief of the project. And now I'll leave you with a very quick film to give the latest progress, some visual images of the progress up to now. So if we can have the film. Thank you very much.